Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back to show off more plunder that I have acquired over my recent ratings. And yeah, I got a nice stack of vinyl here, pretty good sized stack of CDs to show. But before I show those off, yesterday I went shopping with my family in this town about 20 minutes or so from where I live. It has all these like little shops, like leather shops and places to buy hot sauce, shit like that. And several years back, I went into one of these little leather shops and I had bought a studded wristband there, which I wear a lot of times when I'm not working. And I went in there trying to find, see if maybe they might have some gauntlets, a little bit bigger, which they didn't. But I did find a couple new wristbands to wear. Hopefully you can see that really well. Nice little red Celtic design on it. And I got one that's just a plain black one I thought looked pretty cool and actually fit my fat wrist. And the other thing I got, which everybody knows I'm like a massive fanboy for this band, as well as Kiss, of course. And I pretty much pick up just about anything that they put out. And this is the new Judas Priest live release, Battle Cry. Yeah, heard that this was coming out and I had to pick this up because really Judas Priest doesn't seem to really come really close to where I live. So, I don't really get to see them live. So that's about as close as I'm going to get. So, alright, moving on to the vinyl. This first one, and in fact, most of these except for one actually came from half-price books, and they were all new except for like one of them. But this first one is a total guilty pleasure of mine. I remember when this band first came out, and this is really the only album from them I really like. Everything else I've heard after that is just complete shit in my opinion. And like I said, this is just like a guilty pleasure for me. I saw it in there for like $17. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it. This is Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Like I said, I remember when their first video for One Step Closer came out, and I remember me and my friends used to watch that one all the time when it came on. And Crawling is another good song. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, guilty pleasure here. I saw for a pretty decent price, and I picked it up. And this next one is actually a 10-inch, which I don't usually buy. I mean, it's just not something I see very often, or, see one that I really want. But I saw this in there. It was in their little locked case. They keep kind of the higher price ones, which this one was like 20 bucks, which is still not too bad, I don't think. And the cover and everything just really caught my eye. And glad I went ahead and picked this up, even though I had never heard them before, because this is actually some really good death metal. This is Under the Church with their self-titled EP. And I actually just recently ordered the CD version of this, as well as their debut full-length album. So I should be getting that in the mail sometime soon. And comes with a kind of a mini poster with some lyrics on the back, which I hate when they do stuff like this, because when they put the lyrics on the back, you really want to kind of find like a little frame or hang this, and then you can't because then you don't have the lyrics. And a little printed inner sleeve, band photos and everything on the back. And what was cool is this is actually the white vinyl version, and this one was limited to only 100 copies, so that was another selling point for me to get one that limited. And it only came on standard black and white, and of course, like I said, the white was only limited to 100 copies. So to find this and in pretty much mint condition for $20 in a half-price book, I was not going to pass that up. And the next one, I actually pre-ordered this off of Amazon, and yeah, as soon as I heard this got reissued, I had to pick this up. Hopefully I can pronounce this right. This is the reissue of Triptychon's Peristera Demonis. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If not, I'm gonna feel like a total idiot. But yeah, got the nice gatefold with that Geiger artwork, absolutely beautiful. And I originally knew that I thought there was only 2 color variants to this, and that was of course, standard black, and I heard there was a blue variant, and that was the only ones I knew. So I figured, there was no chance in hell I was going to get a blue variant. And here's one of the inner sleeves, very nice. And I was completely shocked when I opened this up, and it was white. I did not even know there was a white color variant to this. But apparently there was. In fact, there's actually several different color variants. The white version is limited to 700 copies. So really cool to get that. And yeah, if I can get these. There we go. Also comes with a couple of nice posters, which I'm actually planning on eventually getting a frame for both of these. Getting a couple frames. And my plan is, if I can figure out how to do it and I can get the room for it, is I'm going to take my other signed poster that I got with the box set for their last album, and I'm going to kind of put it up on the wall, kind of like a, I guess you'd say like a mural or something like that. But that, right now, that's just a plan in my head. Whether I'll be able to accomplish it is a whole nother story. And the last of these are all from the same band, all from one of my all-time favorite bands. And yeah, Vinyl Rescue Project, which is where I normally buy a lot of my vinyl. One's like $40 a piece for these, but I found all of these half-price books for just 20 bucks. Brand new, still sealed. And yeah, we have Kiss Unmasked. Definitely not their best album by any stretch of the imagination, but there is some good songs on here. Of course, Shandy's the big hit. But yeah, I had to pick this up. I've been wanting to get this on vinyl for a long time. I have a lot of the originals on vinyl, including the rest of these, except for, I think, the very last one. Got Lick It Up, another great album, in my opinion. The first unmasked album, or should I say, non-makeup album. And really, I mean, there's not a bad song on this album, in my opinion. Of course, my favorites are always the title track, Exciter's a good one. A Million to One is another great song. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Just a lot of really great songs. And what's nice about having these reissues is that now I don't have to worry about wearing out my original pressings. I can just kind of listen to these and let the others just kind of sit there and look pretty, I guess. Then we have Animalize. Again, another solid album, in my opinion. A lot of the 80s albums are some of my favorites. I love the classic era of Kiss, but like on my MP3 player, all I have is the 80s albums for some reason. I don't know. I just love those. I mean, like I said, again, this has got a lot of great songs. One of my all-time favorites is Thrills in the Night. I just absolutely love that song. My very first Kiss album, Crazy Nights. Again, love this album. I remember buying the cassette of this from Walmart for like $5, and I damn near wore that thing out. It actually still plays really well, I have to say. And this is actually the third copy I have of this. This, of course, is the reissue, but I also have an original pressing of this, and I also have a sealed original pressing that I was able to find, which is unbelievable. And eventually I'm going to get a frame for that. Got Asylum. Good stuff. And this one, I believe this is the first time this has been made available on vinyl. And this is Hot in the Shade. Yeah, last album to feature the late, great Eric Carr on drums. And it's an alright album. There's some good songs on it, but definitely not one of my all-time favorites from them. But yeah, really glad to finally make a dent in the Kiss reissues on vinyl, because I've been wanting to get them for a long time, but like I said, VRP has got them for like $40 a piece, and it's like, yeah, there might be one or two that, you know, are like the first time they're out on vinyl that I might actually splurge and go ahead and pay that for, but if I can find them for a cheap price, I'm definitely going to pick them up. Moving on to the CDs, got a few used ones here. First one completes my Beatles collection. This is With the Beatles. Some really cool songs on here. Money, the very last track over here. Roll Over Beethoven, Please Mr. Postman. Really good stuff. And what I love about Beatles albums is that they seem to, like, I don't know, they always seem so short. I never really realized that until I started collecting their albums. And that, you know, you look at their songs, they're usually like only not even 3 minutes long. So, like this 14-song album, I listened to this twice yesterday, just taking Tyler home to Avon, which is like a half-hour, 45-minute drive, and I listened to this thing twice, just in that short amount of time. And the next one, I got an FYE, and I remember Count Blagworth mentioned this in one of his recent updates, And I've always seen this band's name, and I've seen like shirts of them, and I've always put them off. But I decided to check them out, especially for the price. It was like $4.99, and it looks brand new pretty much. Cause and what was cool was that I didn't find this out until after the fact, after I'd already bought it. They must have had a sale going on used stuff, so it was like half off. So I paid only $2.50 for this. But this is Every Time I Die with Gutter Phenomena. This is the CD DVD version. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot different than what I was expecting, at least vocal wise, and the lyrics are just a whole nother subject. And I got this at the half price books. I want to say either up by, I think I got this one at the one by where Tyler lives. This is Moonspell with Memorial. Really need to go back through and try to get the rest of Moonspell stuff. I really love their early stuff, but yeah, I definitely need to complete my collection on them. Got After the Burial, Dig Deep. Pretty good album, though, of course, hate the packaging. It's one of those, thin digis where you slide everything in. As you can see, I've put the disc in a little white sleeve that I got it slid into the end of it. So, yeah, I really wish labels would quit making these cheap-ass digipacks. I hate these things. Got the new Killswitch Engage Incarnate Special Edition. Has 4 bonus tracks on it. Pretty cool digipack release. Haven't given this one a listen yet, so definitely looking forward to digging into that one. This next one, I got this after Runner JMA talked about this particular project. And this is a genre of music that I've not really listened to before. Death Industrial, I believe is what it's called. And I don't know, I decided to check this one out, and I really dug it. And this album is just fucking amazing. I'm really glad I picked it up. This is a Sewer Goddess with Pain Lust. Awesome, awesome stuff. I'm definitely going to try to track down the rest of their material. And who knows, I might delve further into that genre. And this band, I found out recently that they had split up. And I didn't even know if I would be able to find this, because this is their debut album. And I remember it came with Metal Hammer one time. And at the time I wasn't into the band, and me and Tyler had a little fun with that disc with a hammer and everything else. But eventually I did end up getting into the band. I didn't know they had made another version of it. This is The Defiled with Grave Times. Pretty good stuff. I've only listened to it one time so far, but yeah, like I said, it was just one of those things I didn't even realize they released another version other than what came with the Metal Hammer magazine, so I'm glad I was able to find that for a cheap price, too. And, of course, I showed the Blu-ray of this, and I had to pick up the CD version as well. This is, of course, Judas Priest Battle Cry. Again, huge Priest fanboy. They put out something new, I generally snap it up. Another one that... Another guilty pleasure, say what you will. I did pick up the new Baby Metal album, Metal Resistance. It was like $9 at Best Buy, and I had to pick this up. I will say, though, it's a lot heavier, I think, than their last album. There's a lot of more heavier parts to this. I've only listened to it one time, but yeah, pretty good stuff. And this next one, I didn't even realize this version was even available. I only see people show the jewel case version. But this is the new Destroyer 666. Wildfire Limited Box Edition. And so comes with a cool patch and a goat leather keychain, similar to what they did with the last Inquisition album. And get the digipack version, which I believe comes with a bonus track. I could be wrong, but yeah, nice little digipack there. So yeah, it was a little bit more expensive, obviously, than the jewel case version off of Amazon. But I was like, you know what, fuck it. I wanted to get this version. If this is available, I'm getting it. All right, the last stack of CDs all come from Dark Descent, and yeah, this is all from their big sale that they were having. And I actually did 2 separate orders and took advantage, got a lot of really good prices. In fact, this cool shirt that I'm wearing, this Apsu Temples of Opal shirt, was only like $10.50. I could not pass that up, you know, so finally I can say I have an Apsu shirt. And while I was at it, I had to pick up the album, The Temples of Opal. And another kind of compilation that I wanted to get. It was limited to, I believe, 1,000 copies. This is Origin, War and Magic. Basically contains all the material from the pre-Apsu bands, Dolmen and Magus. So really glad to get that. And this one, I've wanted this album for years, ever since I first heard it. And I knew it was out of print, and it just seemed like nobody was going to reissue it. And Century Media finally went back and reissued this, and I was so glad I could pick this up for a really good price. This is Morbid Saint with Spectrum of Death. Really awesome reissue. Comes with, of course, the album with the black tape demo from '92 tacked onto the first disc, and the second disc is actually the album that they recorded after Spectrum of Death, but never got released until now. Destruction System also has some recordings from 2010 and 2011. There you have the Spectrum of Death. And there's the second album, Destruction System. Got a cool booklet stuffed into the middle. Really cool packaging. Very glad to have this album. Like I said, I've wanted this for years, so when I saw Dark Descent had it, I had to get it. And hopefully I'm going to pronounce this one right. This is Cthulist with Le Dernier Crépuscule. Awesome atmospheric death metal. I've got the vinyl version and had to pick up the CD version, obviously, and I've listened to this a handful of times. Great album. Definitely going to be making it to my year-end list. Where? I don't know. We'll find out. Next up is Morgion with God of Death and Disease. And this is just a compilation that puts together their Rabid Decay demo from '91, Live Rehearsal '92, and the Travesty 7-inch from '93. I've just recently started to get into Morgion, and they play, of course, a doom death style, but this is more like straight up death metal, so I had to get this and check out some of their more straightforward material, I guess you can say. Next up is a split between Dethroned and Excommunion called, I think it's just called, yeah. Let's see here. Doesn't really have a name. It's just a split between Excommunion and Dethroned. So yeah, if you like kind of brutal death metal / blackened death metal, definitely give these guys a shot. I mean, it's a really cool compilation put out by Butchered Records and Savard. Good stuff. Got my first Father Defiled CD. This is Revulsions of Seraphic Grace. Really awesome stuff. This is the first material I've ever heard from them, and I absolutely love it. I'm definitely going to be getting more. Got Merciless with The Awakening. This is Nocturnity with Harps of the Ancient Temples. Awesome stuff. I know Canyon Bickle has talked about this and a couple others. And this was pretty much a blind buy because I really hadn't listened to very much from this at all when I bought it. But really glad I got it. This is really awesome black metal. And the last one is an EP that I just kind of stumbled across on YouTube. And has ex-members of Sun Adam in it. This is, hopefully I can pronounce this right, Kever with Aeon of Cycling Death. Really great death metal EP. I highly recommend you check this out. If you're a fan of Sun Adam or just death metal in general, you can't go wrong with this. So yeah, that is going to do it for now. A lot longer than I thought it was going to take to show everything, but yeah, got a lot of cool stuff, and I got a lot of cool stuff coming in the mail still, and yeah, so until then, thanks a lot for watching and subscribing, and until next time, stay brutal.